She is open, persistent, eager to learn and grow, and knows that wisdom comes from deep listening. She's a practical team builder, understands that individuals can make a difference, and that in unity there is strength. But most of all, she has never wavered from collaborating with others and seeking healthcare justice. Dignity and human rights are in her DNA.
Thank you. Everybody. I'm going to start with a little story. And I've been thinking about this ever since Jessica called me. And we were talking about our reception we're going to have that you all are going to stop by for in Capital B. Remember, 6:30? And I said, oh, Jessica, we're just so excited. We're having our 20th anniversary. A lot of our former board members are coming. It's going to be wonderful. And she said, well, Rachel, how about if we start the celebration around 12:30? And that's when I found out. So I think it's made me think about all the things that we've been through together and all the work, the body of work that everybody in this room has been a part of making happen. So here's what I'd like to start with. On top of a file cabinet in my office in Cleveland, there are 2 framed black and white photos that have been sitting there almost as long as I've been working for UHCAN, which, as you know, is 20 years. One photo is of a diminutive, energetic, middle-aged woman at a demonstration holding a big sign that says, "Full healthcare for all, a national responsibility." The other photo features this same woman working at a table under a tent with lots of people signing postcards and a big sign that says, "Everybody needs health security." These pictures are from the mid-70s, and that woman is my mother, Lois Ann Rosen. When I was in high school, or in college I guess it would have been, she served as director of the Illinois Committee for Health Security, which I bet there's people in this room that remember that. That was the last big healthcare fight before the one we had that was when UHCAN was formed. And then we had the next one 15 years later, and we finally passed something we're going to build on. So when Kathleen asked me what keeps me going all these years, that's the first thing you asked me, made me think. It's, well, the memory and the example of my mother is one thing. Also, as Kathleen mentioned, both my parents were trade unionists, and they always lived what they believed, which is a pretty powerful thing to give your children. And indeed, one of the lessons that they taught me in both word and deed is that in unity is strength. United we stand, divided we fall. So you can see why I felt so incredibly fortunate to have been able to work all these years, and it ain't over yet, with UHCAN. It's such a perfect fit. UHCAN is all about unity building and connecting groups across this broad spectrum of what we call our healthcare justice movement. And this year, we're going to need unity as much as ever. This is going to be a tough year. We're fighting for healthcare and a lot of other things in the context of a really intense election year. And election years always pose problems for healthcare advocates, and this one is going to be no exception. We have a huge diversity of groups, more than ever before, working with a range of constituencies around a number of policy approaches that we like to argue about, utilizing a variety of strategies. Some groups are very active politically, others less so. Some are C3s, and so they're constrained that way, and others are not, so they're less constrained that way. Some have multiple legal entities that they're juggling all at once. But it's inescapable that everyone's going to be working in this year in a time of huge, intense political tension. UHCAN's messages has been already shared with you here, and anyone who's been on any of our calls knows, keep unity in the healthcare movement on your agenda. You got to think about it. It doesn't just happen naturally. It's not, as Nick Unger, who I'm sorry is not with us right now, but will be here this evening, he says it's not the default setting for the healthcare advocacy movement. And those conference calls, I was going to do what you just did, Kathleen, so I can't do it now, but it was great seeing all your hands wave, how many people have been on the calls. They're one of the most fun things I get to do for UHCAN. And it is such a delight to come to families and actually see everybody face to face at least once a year. And what we try and do on those calls, and if there's anyone in this room who isn't on my listserv yet, just email me, we'll be glad to put you on. We try and give the big picture to all of you hard-working, underpaid, understaffed groups out there of what all is happening on healthcare, both nationally and in the state level, and give you a chance to share your stories and your lessons for each other and your strategic thinking. The term network helped make the CAN in UHCAN work, but it also symbolizes our core mission to both connect state groups with each other and help them engage with the national campaigns and organizations working around multiple approaches to achieve universal health care. So UHCAN. Those guys at Radio Row really liked our acronym, by the way, today. And the networking focus is what ultimately led us to making a big focus on unity building in this long and tangled battle we've had to get to universal health care. So I just want to acknowledge a few special people. You've met Diane and Becky, Dr. Ken Frizoff, member. Together with Diane, they were really the father and mother of UHCAN, shall we say. And Linda Walling, who was mentioned, who came to work on our faith project and turned it into faith and reform in healthcare. Tim Fuller, whose strategic thinking really helped steer us through some difficult transitions. Crablack, who has kept the office and frankly me operating smoothly for so many years, and her husband John, who comes to all these national conferences with us. And if you haven't met Jean yet, she knows your name. If you're on our listserv, she'll be delighted to meet you. And I want to thank Mark Hannay, chair of UHCAN's board for quite some time now. And all the UHCAN board members, past and present, please stand. Past and present, wonderful for us to do so much with so few staff, right? It's your leadership. And finally, I want to thank my husband of 32 years, Peter DeGolia, sitting right here. With whom I've raised 2 wonderful daughters, who supports me in all the crazy things I do for this work, and who actually himself works in this dysfunctional healthcare system that we're trying to change, that we are changing, creating and running programs that take care of seniors and are helping pave the way for payment reforms and delivery reforms that we're going to need to make this thing really happen. Thank you to all the wonderful family staff, Jessica and Liz and all the wonderful field staff and Jen and all the wonderful policy staff and Kathleen. You guys are wonderful. Thank you, Families USA, for this great honor, for bringing us all here together. And thank you to all of you who come to these conferences and then you go home and you do the work that's going to make it happen. I love you all. Thank you.